Hey, thanks for watching my video. So check this out. We're going to tour the northwest side of Colorado Springs today. Why? Because when people reach out and they say, I want to live in the trees, but I don't want to be too far from town, Northwest Colorado Springs comes to mind. The proximity to the mountains, the beauty of the homes in the area, definitely worth considering. So come with me as we explore this great part of Colorado Springs. All right, so as I mentioned, we are going to cruise around Northwest Colorado Springs. We're going to get off on Woodman Road, which is right here. And you can see my mouse kind of hovering over stuff. So I'll be sure to call out things, restaurants, grocery stores, open spaces, hiking areas, biking areas, parks, schools, things like that. So this area, this exit doesn't get too busy. It's really easy to get on and off of it. When you're traveling east on Woodman, you end up heading over to Stetson Hills. I've talked about that neighborhood quite a bit. End up over here, Wolf Ranch, Cordera, that's all over there. So zooming in on Woodman, we're going to head west. So we have two major choices when we start traveling west on Woodman. We can either turn off on West Woodman Road and take you up Woodman Valley, or you can take East Rockrimmon. Rockrimmon and this area right around here is what you're used to seeing when you travel south on I-25. The homes along Rockrimmon, especially once you've just gotten off of I-25, are really unique. There's some Swiss chalet homes over there. There's some of the first two stories we started to see in Colorado Springs. The homes still sometimes have cedar shake shingles on them. That's kind of a fun one to say 3 times fast. And then you have, the trees, the mature landscaping. So if you truly want a one-off home, and your neighbor's home or 2 doors down is going to have the same floor plan is a big concern to you, look over there on the west side. You're definitely going to find a lot of unique real estate. As you travel down the street, you're like, I didn't see that one, I didn't see that one, I didn't see that one. There's a lot of unique property over there. When you get to this first road here called Delmonico, this is where the majority of the services that you're going to encounter right off of I-25. There's a fire station here, a couple of smaller restaurants, a liquor store, a lot of doctors' offices right here on this side of Delmonico. There's a big townhome complex right here. As you travel up Delmonico even further to connect up to West Woodman Road or Woodman Valley, you'll go up over some hills. It's very wooded back in here. It's beautiful scenery. A lot of sandstone geology that kind of pops out of the earth. If you're fortunate enough to own one of those 1, 2, 5, 10 acre lots, you might have little small cliffs on your land. It's really quite cool back there. Again, a lot of deer. Drive slow on this West Woodman Road. The deer are used to traffic, but certainly keep your eyes peeled for them. I knew we'd find some. Those are the resident deer. They're everywhere around here. Woodman Valley does have one little small drawback, is that once you're back in here, that's it. There isn't a gas station. There isn't a grocery store. There's a few small isolated businesses, but generally speaking, you've got about a 15 to 20 minute drive until you get to a grocery store. These homes in here, as they border the Air Force Academy, they feel like a lot of homes that were built in the 90s, some one-offs, some custom construction scattered throughout here. There's a lot of twists and turns and winds. There's a lot of homes back in here. It's not just all exclusive $1 million plus real estate. In fact, this neighborhood right in here is affordable in the 5s and 600s. When I think about Woodman Valley, I'm thinking really unique real estate. It's set off from just about everything else in town. Lots of trees, obviously lots of deer. I've mentioned that before. It really feels like the rugged West meets downtown living. Within 5 minutes, you can be downtown and enjoying, high-rise life, but then you can be back at your home and be surrounded by trees and solitude. It's really unique up in there and definitely worth taking a look at. When you get up here to Orchard Valley, you can kind of go cruising around in here and around all throughout this area. You can see the school. These homes feel affordable. There's HOAs in place. All the yards are well kept. There's deer on people's front yards. If you have a dog that likes to bark at deer, don't live here. When you travel around West Woodman Road and end up this way,
You'll see the footage that I filmed from the Marshall Sprague Park. Great views up on high here. The elevation change from up here as you look down over the city is you can see everything. So if you're fortunate enough to get a home up in there, there are some great views. This open space is a great spot to walk around, enjoy the nature. This far edge of this open space is really steep and it climbs right up in the hills pretty quick.
Keep in mind that we're within city limits, so all of your utilities are going to be run through Colorado Springs Utilities. This part of town also has access to the high-speed internet that you want and need for your home-based business, or for those remote workers who have moved to Colorado Springs to enjoy the outdoors, but also be able to have a home office. So Comcast, Xfinity, CenturyLink, they're all very accessible in this part of town. Like most people who've moved to Colorado Springs, I first was attracted to the west side because of the view of that giant 14er up there. That's Pikes Peak. And at a little over 14,000 feet, with a train that goes to the top, with a visitor center and a toll highway that goes to the top, it is one of America's more accessible tall mountains. Definitely worth checking out.
As we travel around West Woodman Road and you look down into this whole valley area here, you're going to notice really cool sandstone and exposed rock geology. You're going to see yards that have, a giant red rock sticking out of the back of them. It's beautiful back in there. This whole area might be called Woodman Valley. Some people refer to it as Peregrine. It's just kind of generally known as the northwestern part of Colorado Springs. This is 80919 is the zip code, and it's school district 20.
I've mentioned a few of the schools that are in this area, but keep that in mind that as you get a little further south, you're going to start crossing over into school district 11. It's important to consult that map as well as the zip code that you're in that will determine which school district you may be putting kids into.
When you travel further down this West Woodman Road, and you start entering back into lower elevation, you're going to come across this shopping center here. There's a Walgreens, Josh and Josh ice cream, really good ice cream. Got to go there at some point. There's a lot of other stores right in this area. It was the home of the last Blockbuster in Colorado Springs. And then this road right here, Allegheny, I want to point this one out because it's beautiful along this drive here all the way back out to Rock Rimmon, which is the road that connects right back up here to Woodman. And there is elementary school there. Eagleville Middle School is perched kind of like right here. Ute Valley Park, great spot to hike and bike and walk. It's really quite nice in there. Going back around Ute Valley, we end up kind of passing some really iconic neighborhoods. So this whole area up in here is Mountain Shadows. Mountain Shadows, most of it was burned out in the fire, and that fire took about 443 homes, almost close to 10 years ago now, and most of them were rebuilt by some of the best builders in Colorado Springs. So there's some really great real estate up in here, and you can hardly tell. Most of the landscaping is matured at this point. It looks really nice up in there.
As traumatic as an event as it was, we certainly rebuilt, and the building community came together in a big way. Builders like Vantage Homes, Classic Homes, Campbell, they all came together and bought these lots and rebuilt great homes on there. It really brought a lot of great new construction to an iconic neighborhood. School District 20 is the school that is Mountain Shadows. You have homes in the probably 3,000 to 6,000 square foot, ranging in price from probably the low sevens, well up over $1 million now, especially with the views. So Mountain Shadows, if you can afford it and it's right for you, it's real estate that's definitely rewarding.
The Flying W Ranch Road is pretty iconic as well. You can end up, kind of cruising around in here and enjoying a lot of great real estate in here. This stuff is built in the 80s and 90s. Some of it as late as the 70s, especially when you start talking about this neighborhood right back in here. This is called Pinion Valley. And a little bit south of Pinion Valley, good park right there as well. There's a townhome complex right in there, Territory Trail. And Those are set off. They back right up to Ute Valley. It's open space right behind there. So that's a really quiet, tucked out of the way townhome complex. Definitely worth checking out. Traveling further down Centennial Boulevard, what we see as we kind of wrap up this northwest part of Colorado Springs is it feels like we've got back to civilization. So this whole area in here is houses, lots of cool geology, trees, deer, spread out yards. You can't believe it's this close to Colorado Springs. It's spaced out. When we get down here to Garden of the Gods Road, we now enter into 3 lanes on each side of the road heading east and west. There's big corporate office, or not corporate, government building here, the El Paso County Motor Vehicle Department. There's also Health and Human Services in there. There's a brewery out here, Black Bear Diner, pretty famous place. Marigold's, got to try their curry chicken pocket. The shopping around in here, there's Trinity Brewing, wins a lot of awards at the Great American Beer Festival. Got to check that place out. There's a Safeway here. Bird Dog Barbecue, they've been around for almost 20 years in Colorado Springs. Pretty good barbecue. Molica's, really like that restaurant. Great Italian sandwiches. Grinders, if you're from the East Coast. Submarines.
Let's talk about grocery stores on the west side. They're isolated. They're set aside and tucked into these little pockets, again, mostly due to topography of the land. So you'll be driving around a corner and suddenly there's a little shopping center. And it's not going to feel like, certain parts of America or certain parts of Colorado Springs, like Powers Boulevard, where you can just look down the road and see store after store after store. No, it's going to be different. You're going to have your own little, micro regional shopping center that you're going to get most of your groceries at, or gasoline for your car, or, stop in at your church, or take the dog to the dog park. So it's going to feel like I live on this part of the west side, so I shop typically 99% of the time right at this grocery store. West side is what I've always heard since I moved here of the place to live. There's not a lot of land over here between I-25 and the mountains, so you end up with pockets of very diverse homes built anywhere from the early 1900s when you get down close to I-25. And then you end up with, kind of some luxury like Kissing Camels and some other neighborhoods around here. There's gated communities, there's new construction, there's lots of views, especially if you end up on one of those lots that's out here that faces the mountains. So there's a lot to enjoy over here. I'd say that recreation is one of the main reasons people move over here. See the bike lane? It's not always around on all streets, especially when you get back over on the east side in some of those streets that are newer, where they put 3 lanes instead of 2.
Further down Centennial Boulevard, this whole area here is called Holland Park. And that neighborhood was built 60s, 70s. Ranchers, not duplexes, fourplexes are kind of scattered along right here along Centennial Boulevard. Lots of open space right through here. Really great park. Definitely a nice, affordable spot to live on the west side. 400s, 500,000.
Holland Park is a neighborhood that I know quite well. I used to live in Holland Park when I rented, and it was great because it was really close to I-25 and Garden of the Gods. You could get east to west on both of those, on Garden of the Gods quite easily, all the way out west to Garden of the Gods, but also then you could drive east past the university, connect with Austin Bluffs, and be in kind of the east center part of town. Or you could jump on I-25 and head north to Denver, or south down to Fountain. So Holland Park is great for location. The homes are typically well built. They're affordable. They're large for homes that were built in the 60s and 70s, 2,000, 3,000 square feet. Nice yards between 9 and 10,000 square feet. Everything is fenced. The trees are mature. Lots of squirrels for your dogs to bark at. So consider Holland Park as one of those great neighborhoods that's kind of tucked in there on the west side.
This neighborhood that's scattered right here, just at the base of this this big hill that's right here, is popular There's not many homes in it. We're talking 500s, 600s, maybe low 7s now at this point. When you think about, these spaces around here, you're going to find like little pockets here and there kind of scattered throughout the west side, mostly due just to the topography and some areas being, unbuildable. So keep that in mind. As we travel further down, let's jump over here to Centennial and then Fillmore. We're going to drive past this King Soopers, which is one of our big grocery stores, heart of Jerusalem, really good falafel. Drive right down here past this way to Mesa Road. And right now Mesa Road is closed for construction, but if you were able to head back up this way, you would be right here at this Mesa Overlook parking area. And there's enough for like 7 to 10 cars, but it's a great spot to take that iconic photo. You can see the background of Pikes Peak in the back, and then the red rocks of Garden of the Gods. It's beautiful. So every time I stop there, it always seems like there's people visiting, and they're like, "Oh, can you take our picture?" It's really, really beautiful. Fun fact: Garden of the Gods is completely free. You can drive around and enjoy it all. Also, when you get further down this way, you start entering into Pleasant Valley area, homes built in the 50s and 60s. This is a really popular spot in town. Just keep in mind that these are older homes. And so we want to do sewer line inspections. We want to take a look at the foundation. We want to take a look at quality of the construction. How is it holding up over the last 70 to 80 years? So
it's quite a nice part of town. It's so close to Highway 24. So if you want to be in the mountains every single weekend, Pleasant Valley is a great spot to consider. You're also just right around the corner from Old Colorado City and all the great dining and activities that are there, because you can get to Manitou in less than 3 minutes. So consider Pleasant Valley. So we just wrapped up our tour of Northwest Colorado Springs. Again, get an idea that Colorado Springs is a beautiful city to live in, to call your home, to enjoy all the natural beauty of Colorado, and so much to offer in this part of town. Thank you so much for watching again, and I look forward to speaking to each and every one of you if you reach out with any questions.